All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this evening. This is the annual mayor's meeting. I know there's lots of different meetings. It's hard to keep track of all the different ones. So I have been doing the quarterly town halls where I give general updates on capital projects, things like that, and take questions and comments. These annual meetings really started several years ago for the ward representatives and mayor to be able to take questions and comments from constituents and help us incorporate those into our work plan for the following year. But I do want to take some time at the beginning of the meeting before I turn it over to you all for questions, comments, and feedback to be able to just take you through some upcoming activities. If you want the more general information about projects and things like that, we did post the last town hall on the city website, so you can always watch that video. But I'm happy to answer any questions about those things as well. So my name is Ashley Stolzman. I'm the mayor of Louisville, and I'm just going to take everyone through a few things. And feel free during the meeting to go ahead and use that raise hand feature. You'll find it at the bottom of your panel if you have questions or comments, and we can have a dialogue throughout. So first, I just want to introduce everyone to the new city council. So we just had elections back in the beginning of November, and tomorrow night we'll actually swear in this new group. And largely people were reelected. So Councilmember Brown was up for election and was reelected. Councilmember Lay was up for reelection and was reelected. And Councilmember Maxine Most is newly elected from Ward 2. So the rest of the group is the same. Councilmember Dickinson up here top middle, Councilmember Fahey top right, and Mayor Pro Tem Maloney bottom right. And I'm over here, Ashley, your mayor. And so this is the group that you have for council. You can email all of us individually or as a group. You're welcome to call your representatives. This is a good group to look for questions or comments you have. Provide the feedback to this group and we should be able to help you out. So I did want to just take everyone through a few things that are upcoming or about to be done. So everyone's aware, our leaf collection at the sports complex runs through the 20th of November. So you have a few days left that you'll be able to bring your leaves over to the sports complex. For this season, we are asking that people please remove the leaves from the bags. Everybody's been doing a pretty good job of that. And just make sure that you go over there between 7:30 a.m. and 3 p.m. You can, as always, put your leaves into your compost container. And there was a curbside bag collection that already happened this year, but you still have some time left if you want to bring leaves over to the sports complex. And this is Courtesy Road or Highway 42 and Griffith Street is where you'll find that. And if you need more information about it, you can find it on the city website. And just another important thing to mark onto your calendar, we are in the process of looking for a new city manager. This is probably the most important thing that a city council does as a group because the city manager is the chief administrator of the city. It's like the CEO of the city and runs the day-to-day business and makes sure everything's going well. So this Thursday at 5:30, you all can meet the finalists at the Louisville Rec Center. And so that would be a great opportunity to come meet them and then provide that feedback to the city council. So your council reps and I would love to hear your feedback on which of the finalists you think is best positioned to be our next city manager. You can find information about those different candidates on the city website. So go ahead and check out louisvilleco.gov for more information about those candidates. And then I really want to take a moment and hope that you all will mark on your calendar some important activities in downtown this winter. So the holiday lights are up. They look beautiful. If you haven't had a chance to go look at the lights, please do. There are convenient grab and go parking spaces for people that are still not comfortable going indoor. And there's winter indoor and outdoor dining set up. So there will be different options available for what you're comfortable with. And so many restaurants have utilized parking spaces for that outdoor dining experience. And many of the restaurants have wonderful patios. So you can check those things out. The shops in downtown also have a number of programs and opportunities all through November and December, including, but not limited to, Small Business Saturday. So after Black Friday comes Small Business Saturday, and it's a great time to find shopping locally really neat different gifts that you can find for your family members and friends. And with all of the discussion and hysteria around shortages, really shopping local is a way around that. So please frequent the businesses, the local businesses. They've all had a really tough 2 years with this pandemic. And so the more we can shop local and help them out, the better. And many of the businesses have made incredible improvements to their ventilation systems, to their cleaning, and other things like that. And they each have information about that on their own individual websites. So please check that out. And the ice skating's back again this year, and it's got some COVID restrictions and reservation requirements. So please check that out online before you go. And then this is something, many of you I recognize on the attendee panel, and we've talked about this a few times. And so sorry to repeat myself, but I really want everyone to be aware of this feature that we have, because it really can help. So we have something called the City Problem Reporter on our city website. And this is an online interactive map where you can click on the map and report all kinds of different problems that you see around the city. And so if you see trees that need trimming, or a sign that's got graffiti or is damaged or missing, maybe you see a vehicle that looks abandoned with flat tires or something like that, this City Problem Reporter is really great for those types of things, because you can click exactly where it is on the map. You can put in a message about what you see, and then it gets routed to the appropriate person at City Hall. And so this is a really great way to get information directly to the right people really quickly. This is not for emergencies. This is for, code issues. Maybe you see a sprinkler in one of the parks that's not working correctly, or watering the sidewalk, something like that. So this is for those things. So please do use this and tell your friends about it, and your neighbors. If they have issues, you don't have to just fester on it. You can let us know about it, and then we can get it corrected. And a lot of times we learn about things that we didn't know in the field because people report them. So I really appreciate everybody who is letting us know when there's an issue out there. And then what kind of a presentation would it be without more information about COVID-19? So boosters are now available for everyone in the state of Colorado who has had a vaccine within the last 6 months. So if you are 6 months or over from the time you've gotten your vaccine, please consider getting a booster, and you can go to your doctor, or Walgreens, Safeway, King Soopers, any pharmacy you're comfortable with. You will have to probably sign up or look for a vaccination site, because they're very popular right now. And we're so happy now that children 5 or over are now eligible. So people are able to get their kiddos that are 5 years old and up now vaccinated. So all of this additional vaccination will help slow the spread, and we really could use help right now. Our hospitals are overwhelmed. The public health departments are meeting with the mayors and the county commissioners and trying to come up with what additional things we can do to try to lower our hospitalization rate. And so there's all kinds of things you'll be hearing about. And if you have not subscribed for city email updates, please consider doing that. We try to send out information that we think is critical to people in the community. And this has been a way that I've been able to get COVID-19 information out to the community. And you can see in the corner, I still have the pictures of my niece up there, my 2 nieces up there wearing their face masks, their face coverings. It's still really important that people wear their face masks inside. And I just want to thank the entire community for doing that. People in Louisville have been very good to one another and very caring to one another throughout the entire pandemic. And I ask that everyone continues with that kind of behavior. So next, just a couple other updates.
Recording in progress.
You'll see some construction that's going on. We have 2 retaining walls in the city that are being reconstructed right now. So there's one right here, if you can see my mouse where I'm hovering, on that Coyote Run Trail on the north side. It's a railroad tie retaining wall. And there's one here, which is on the Power Line Trail. And it's again on the north side, adjacent to these homes. We'll be replacing those 2 retaining walls. They're just at the end of their useful life. And so you will see some periodic trail closures and equipment staging out there. So please be mindful of any time you see a construction zone, you want to stay out of there. And that should go on through about mid-December. But look forward to having that work done and the new walls being in place. And we do have some signage with alternate routes that are suggested. Now, the library has always got lots of different activities and events, and I just went on to the news section of the website and looked what are the current news events that are listed so I could tell you about them. But this is something I would encourage everyone to do from time to time, because you're always can learn something new that's going on. So from the youth all the way up to senior citizens, we have different programs. There's a treasure hunt for kindergartners. There is a take and make for grades 6 through 12. There's a program for all adults on November 21st about the potato blight. And there's a program actually, I think Wednesday, about credit scores. So there's all kinds of different activities and programs offered at the library in addition to all the traditional books and resources that we're used to. So please do take the time to see what's offered, and there are lots of fun things for all different ages and abilities. And this week is our senior Thanksgiving. So this Thursday actually is our Thanksgiving at our senior center. If you haven't signed up to attend that, please do. It's free for everyone, and all of our holiday events and activities like this, donations are welcome to keep it free for all. So please go. It's a great way to meet other seniors in town. It's a great way just for some camaraderie, and for folks who aren't comfortable meeting in person or are in a position where they don't feel safe, there is a grab and go option, so you can get that Thanksgiving meal to go if you can't make it in person, and just go ahead and register online and you'll get more information. And anyway, that's Thursday from 12 to 1. And again, mark your calendars. These are a lot of calendar activities to mark down. The Parade of Lights is happening again this year. Very exciting. And the parade itself starts at 7 p.m. on December 3rd. But there are lots of activities on that night. Again, the shops in downtown have lots of programming, sales, offers, specials. So check out the different restaurants and shops in downtown. But the library always has different activities, music, and the museum, of course, has its annual holiday treat bag giveaway, thanks to the Historical Foundation. So they give away these holiday treat bags starting at 6 p.m. And this is a event that has gone on for many, many years. And so if you've never made it over to that, do check it out. You get just what they got almost 100 years ago, which was an orange and nuts and some traditional candy. So it's a really special tradition that the Historical Foundation is carrying on. So please make time to attend the Parade of Lights on December 3rd if you can. Now, this is one of these updates that you don't want to have to give, but it's important that I explain this to everyone. So snowplowing is very important to the community, and the city council and the city staff completely understand that. Just like every other major employer in Colorado and in the nation, we're having a hard time hiring commercial driver's license certified people. And this problem impacts lots of different things, but the way it will impact you all and all of us this winter is the city, and not just the city of Louisville, but actually all the cities and the airport and the state of Colorado are having a snowplow driver shortage. And so while the city always has a priority program for snowplowing, where we go major arterials first, then collectors, then residential, then sidewalks and trails and things like that, we will really be critically focused on those first two areas, major arterials and collectors. Once we have those areas passable and safe, then we'll be able to go through priority 3 and 4, but it will take us longer than usual to get the streets cleared because we don't have enough resources by way of people working for us to get them clear in the normal amount of time. So thank you very much in advance for your patience. I'm very sorry that this is happening. Something the city is trying to do is offer signing bonuses for anyone who would like to join the team. We are paying for people to get CDL training. And if people have their commercial CDL, meaning commercial driver's license, if you already have that training or someone you know has the training, we would love for you to work for the city. So please contact Human Resources or contact me and we can get you set up. But in the meantime, to the rest of us, what it means is if you don't need to go somewhere and it's very snowy out, then we probably should avoid extra trips, because additional traffic and additional trips when the roads are not cleared create additional accidents. It makes it harder for the snowplows to get the roads cleared just because there's more volume, and so they have to go more slowly. So the more the rest of us can pitch in by avoiding the streets on snowy days, the more it will help. And not just in our city, but across Colorado. It will help the state, and it will help the other cities as well. So consider working from home on those days or planning ahead for your grocery trips on those days this year. And again, I am very sorry that this is the state of affairs, but we just want to communicate it clearly to folks so everyone knows what to expect. And then changing into some positive news from that disappointing news. The City Council recently adopted the 2021 IECC, International Energy Conservation Code. Sorry about that. And so what that means to all of us in the community is that new buildings that are built in Louisville will be more energy efficient, almost 10% more energy efficient than they would have been with previous codes. So this is great news from a sustainability perspective. These new buildings will also be electric ready, meaning that they will be able to have electric appliances hooked up, ready to go without having to have a retrofit done. They will have built-in EV charging, electric vehicle charging, and new residential construction will be net zero, meaning that there will be enough energy generated on site in new residential structures, or they'll have to purchase renewable energy from something like a solar farm through a power purchase agreement to cover their entire energy load. So that's pretty big news. So the City Council has heard from the community that sustainability and taking climate action is critically important. And this is just one of the steps that we've been taking to answer those calls. So there'll be more updates coming in the next quarter around building code. So if you have feedback from the council, please do email your City Council member. And so, as I said at the onset, this is really a meeting for all of you. And I just wanted to give some of those updates to start us off. But I would really like to turn it over to everyone here and ask if you have questions or comments, or if you just have general feedback or ideas that you'd like to give me. That is what this meeting is for today. So there's a raise hand feature down at the bottom of your screen, and you should be able to click it. And then I will see your hand raised if you have a comment. And I'll just say while I'm waiting for the first hand to come up, not everyone feels good about raising their hand in a meeting like this, and that's fine. As you saw, I put an email on the screen ahead of the hands coming up. And so if you'd rather email me or call me, that's a perfectly appropriate way to give feedback as well. First in the queue, we have David Burns. Hi, David. You should be able to unmute yourself.
Good evening. So this is an annual meeting, not the monthly or quarterly meeting, huh?
That's right.
I just wanted to, I have two things. I wanted to mention that last year, when the snow plowing was done on the really severe snow that we had, they managed to block the bus stop with about 3 feet of snow. And there was no way to get from the sidewalk to the bus except to climb over that 3-foot wall. At my age, I'm not that eager to do that. I did do it. I wasn't comfortable doing it. Is there anything that can be done to avoid creating that kind of an ice wall?
I'm sure the answer is yes, there's something that can be done. And the question is if we'll be able to get the resources out there to do it. And so I've written down your comment, David, and I will definitely talk to the staff about that situation because we do have several places where we have bus stops.
Right.
So what it will take is the Parks Department needs to clear out those concrete areas after the road has been plowed so that the road plowing doesn't come over it. I'm not confident that this year we'll be able to do that, just given the staffing shortages we've had, because what we've had to do is take those parks people that normally clear the sidewalks and we're training them to drive snow plows so that they can plow the streets. And so there will be a backlog of things like this. But once we get back to normal, which we will get back to normal, this is definitely something we can address. This year, this is the kind of thing I would call on everybody who's listening to help out with. If you live next to a bus stop and you want to be the best resident of Louisville, you could help out by clearing that. Or if you live next to an ADA ramp at the end of a block, one of those ramps that goes down across the sidewalk, helping out and getting those cleared out. If we all pitch in and help out. Now, everyone can't do that. Some people can't shovel because they have arthritis or this or that. So if that's something you can't do, then I'm not talking to you. But if that's something you're able to do, that's how we're going to make it through this winter, is by helping each other.
Well, I appreciate that idea, but I really wonder whether that's feasible because it was literally like a rock. I mean, it was really icy. But,
In the long run, David, I think your point, we can take care of that with our parks crew in the long run. And that's why I've written it down, and we'll definitely take it forward to staff. I just don't want to give the false expectation that this winter, that's going to go just the way we would like it to.
I understand. I have to observe the bus stop I'm referring to is the one at McCaslin and South Boulder. And the sidewalk runs from the corner up to the bus stop. I don't know, I suppose it's about 15 or 20 feet. And they had managed to put an ice wall at the crosswalk as well as along that entire sidewalk. So there really was no way to get out to where the bus was other than to crawl over it. But enough of that.
Well, and thank you, David, because I mean, what you're pointing out is a really important point, because we want all ages and abilities to be able to get around the community. So, whether you're in a wheelchair or a walker or pushing a stroller or walking, we want people to be able to cross the street. So it's a really important point you're bringing forward.
The other question I had was regarding the problem website that you mentioned earlier. I noticed that missing from that was potholes. Is there a different place for reporting potholes?
So if you are on that, you can absolutely report it under road sidewalk problem.
Okay.
If you click on that feature, more options will come up, and one of those additional options will be pothole.
Okay, great. All right. Thank you very much.
And we would love to hear about potholes. And I actually, you can put information in here anonymously. You don't have to put in your contact information. Now, the good thing about putting in contact information is you'll get followed up with. But from time to time, I've put in anonymous reports just to see how it works. And I've anonymously reported a few different potholes, and usually within about 3 weeks, they get filled. So that's a pretty good turnaround.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Next, we have Councilmember Maxine Most. Good evening, Maxine.
Almost council member Maxine Most.
Tomorrow. You'll swear in tomorrow.
So what I was thinking when David was talking about that? My little brain started triggering. Monarch High School has this National Honor Society program, and those kids need volunteer hours to, as part of that program. I wonder if we couldn't coordinate with Monarch and get some snow shoveling of some of those key areas, like the bus stops and things this winter. I wonder if that would be considered. It seems like it's community service to me, and it might be a great way to solve some of those problems and get those kids to get their hours in.
Awesome. That would be awesome. Let's take it offline and figure it out. That sounds like a great idea, Maxine.
Anyway, awesome. My 2 cents as I'm here.
Thank you. Any other comments on anything? It doesn't have to be on anything we've talked about. If you have a different topic, that's fine too.
Like this older man was saying that they.
Next, we have Stephanie Barr.
Hi, it's nice to see you again.
Hi, Stephanie.
I am a member of the Kestrel community and the mixed age section, but I, as a former resident advisory committee council, I try to keep really close with the senior building and other things too. And I've run into a couple of questions that there were rumors going around that, and I'm not sure how Louisville is connected to this. The free ride for Lafayette, which a lot of our community members depend on to go to places such as Walmart and doctor's appointments. It has been rumored that they may be shutting that down or not renewing it for people in the Kestrel community, which would be a shame. Like I said, because a lot of our community depends on that to travel outside of the Louisville area. And I was just wondering if you knew how Louisville was connected with that, or if there are resources that I could bring to people to go to the right person or people talk to about the importance of that line running in our community.
So RTD is the larger transit service agency, and so we're all connected under our representative, which is Lynn Geisinger, and so I'll take this issue to Lynn and make sure that she knows how important that is, that we can maintain the free ride Lafayette from Kestrel. So I had not heard this rumor, and I can understand why people are concerned, and I'll absolutely follow up. Is there a good way, Stephanie, to circle back with you so I can let you know what I find out and how we can move forward?
Yeah, I was part of the EDI task, so they should probably have my information. If that,
Perfect.
I can send my information.
If you don't mind sending me an email, my email is ashleys@louisvilleco.gov, and that's on the website and everything. And I will absolutely let you know what I find out. But this is a really critical route, and if this is the first I've heard, they would take it away. So
Okay.
I'll follow up with you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stephanie. Next, we have Tiffany Boyd.
Hi, good evening, Mayor. Thank you for taking just public comments and gratitude. So thank you so much for everything you and the council continue to do, and the staff in the middle of a pandemic and a climate crisis. We appreciate all of your work. One thing we're really excited about is the IECC approval of the new building codes and also the residential net zero. So I have two questions. My first question is, what do you think it's going to take to get the commercial passed, the commercial building codes for net zero?
So the city council's taking feedback right now from businesses and community members on the next steps. So if community members and business owners and others have input, please email the planning department and let them know your opinion. So the more people that let them know what we want, the easier it is for the council to implement what the community wants.
Okay, great. So email the planning department. And then my next question was on the city website, there is a little write-up about each of the 4 city manager candidates, and they're each just a small, like a couple sentences. Is that all that we know about them so far as members of the public, or is there somewhere else on the website where there's a little bit more information about each candidate? Alexa, Bentley, Jeffrey, and Victoria.
We are working to get more information posted for the community on the website, background, resume type information. I'll actually ask City Clerk Muth if you are on right now, if you have an update on that one.
We're not sure she's here right now, but yeah, we are working on that.
Okay.
I think there's just been some issue around how we get the information posted, like on the technical side, not whether or not it will be posted. So check back. It should be up, within the next day or two, additional information, but please do review that and provide your feedback to council.
Okay, great. And then on Thursday at the rec center, will people be able to ask the candidates questions?
Yes, absolutely. And please do.
Okay, great. We're really looking forward to a climate leader and someone who prioritizes equity as our new city manager.
Thank you, Tiffany, for that feedback. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Earl Hauserman. Hey, Earl.
Hi, it's actually Betty Ashley.
Betty?
So I don't know what actually happened with the Redtail project. Can you just give me an update? I might have missed some of the things in the paper.
Sure. The City Council approved the Redtail Ridge development, and subsequently community members have collected signatures on a referendum petition. And so they've the community members collected enough signatures. So any time the City Council passes an ordinance of any sort, the community can choose to refer it to the voters by collecting signatures. And so that process, you work with the city clerk, you get the language just right, you officially collect signatures, and then the city clerk verifies the signatures. On any type of ordinance that would happen on, then what happens is the city council has another hearing, and the city council can either decide to change their decision, or the city council can refer the measure to the voters. And so Once the signatures are collected, there's a period of time for objection to the signatures and things like that, and some other technical details. And we're in that interim period of time. And so the following meeting that will happen where the council will reconsider the matter or put it to the voters will be sometime in December.
Oh, okay. Anything on where the Coles was?
There's nothing I can report on, but the property owner is working on something to bring forward for the community to consider. So it may just be administrative in nature and not actually need a public hearing. It might be an allowable use. So as soon as I'm able to provide information on that, I will. Sometimes private property owners tell council members or the mayor things that, are private things that could jeopardize their position if we talk about it publicly. So as soon as I can, I'll provide an update on that site.
Great. Thank you, Ashley.
Sure thing. Good to talk to you, Betty.
You too.
Next, we have Autumn and Rose.
Hi, my name's Violet. I'm a fifth grader. And I just want to say that I think the rec center should bring back Night at the Rec, which if you're not familiar with that, it's a social way for kids my age to gather and just like hang out. And I think we're really missing that like during COVID, and we'd like another way to like hang out safely other than school.
Awesome. Thank you for that feedback, Violet. That's really useful.
Thank you.
Thank you. We just so you know, Violet, we talk about the budget every fall, and it plans for how we do programming in the following year. And then we have work planning every winter in December and January. So your feedback's really useful and the timing is very good. So thank you for letting me know.
Thank you.
Next, we have Sherry Summer.
Oh, good evening, Mayor. Thanks for taking my call. And I just appreciate the fabulous leadership and just always being willing to circle back that you're doing. I wanted to follow up on Tiffany's question. Sometime, maybe you have some advice for the public, for me, or just people in general. I feel like when I go to big meetings where I might be meeting candidates, like for the public, the city manager meeting, I don't necessarily know how to get a good read on the situation. Do you have any tips and hints that you would give? Any kind of questions that you ask? Or what do you do in a meeting like that to get a good feel for somebody or the situation in a short period of time?
Well, so I think what you'll see is there will be small groups that are having direct conversations with the different candidates. So some people do really well engaging in that back-to-back dialogue, but other people don't feel comfortable with that. So if you don't feel comfortable in that, what I would recommend is standing back and watching how the candidates interact in those settings. But there will be time where each candidate gives a brief, overview about themselves. And so I would pay close attention to what they choose to offer about themselves as well.
Oh, thank you.
Just like Tiffany was asking, can you ask questions? Yes, you can. And the more you think about your questions ahead of time, the more confident I think everybody will feel. So if there are things that you think are critical for our next city manager, get it down to the minimum number of questions you can think of that really capture that and ask each candidate that.
Oh, that's a great idea. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. Good to hear from you.
Mm-hmm.
Would anyone else like to ask anything or bring anything forward? Violet did a great example of bringing something forward that, is something that's missed and that we need to bring back. Are there any other things like that? Next, we have Mark.
Ashley, am I unmuted?
Someone is. Was that Betty?
It's Gloria.
Oh, yes, Gloria, you're unmuted. Would you like me to mute you?
Sorry, I'm having that Zoom issue that I was having last time. I just wanted to let you know that Meredith told me that the resumes have just been uploaded and we're waiting on videos. And people can find the resumes at louisvilleco.gov/city manager finalists.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Gloria. So Gloria is our communication specialist. And so just making sure everybody knows. So we now have our resumes posted, and it sounds like videos will be posted shortly as well. So you'll be able to read the applicants' resumes and see a video with answers to 5 questions posted online. So look for those videos shortly, but the resumes are up now. Mark, take it away.
Thank you, Mayor Stolzman. I was disappointed that the underpass ballot measure failed. I'm sure you were, or at least for some of the underpasses, which I think are an important part of the city's future. I think one of the things I was confused about, and it seemed like a lot of the other people were, was the way that the ballot measure was going to be funded. I know that you couldn't comment on it before the election. I wondered if you could just describe now briefly how the money for the ballot measure would have been raised if it was passed. A lot of people seem to think that we were going to take a loan out for 50 billion straight up front, and the interest would be due over, the period of the bond. And, it would amount to $90 million. That wasn't my understanding. Could you just explain briefly, or would you mind just explaining briefly how that would have worked?
Sure. So anytime the city needs to borrow money, we have to ask the voters for approval in Colorado. And so we were, in fact, planning to borrow $50 million to pay for the underpasses and build them upfront, because we've seen construction inflation that's around 15%, 10 to 15% over the last 5 to 10 years. And interest rates are about 3%. So if we try to save up for these over time, they get farther and farther away from us compared to what we could borrow at today. So we actually, from a financial perspective, can borrow at a better rate than if we try to save up and pay for them later, if construction inflation carries on at the same pace that it has been. And it looks like there will be significant additional inflation. So the thing that was very hard to convey in the ballot measure because of the Taxpayer Bill of Rights labor is how we had committed existing funds to repayment. So the City Council had committed $1.5 million of transportation funds a year to the repayment, and the Urban Renewal Authority had committed about $18.75 million toward repayment over a period of time. So those two streams of funds, so the total repayment on that bond measure was like, I don't remember the number off the top of my head, but it was on the order of $3,500,000 a year. And so with $1.5 million in repayment coming from the city and that additional $18.75 million coming from the Revitalization Commission, it brought the annual additional amount needed from community members to about $35 a year a house.
And so you're confirming then that we would have taken the loan straight away up front because we would have got that at less than the cost of inflation in construction prices.
Yeah.
Okay. I gotta say, I am disappointed in the way that it's worked out. I'm sure when the new city council gets together to plan out their work for 2022, you'll be discussing, how to proceed in terms of underpasses, because as much as I know a lot of people feel they're for leisure and people that, just want to get around between the trails. I think increasingly with the rise of electric bikes, which I know you use, underpasses can provide, I think, a really important alternative to using the roads. And the less we use the roads, the less we have to repair them. And the less we use the roads, the less congestion there will be on the roads, and improve safety. So I look forward to hearing what the council decides to put on their work plan for 2022.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, I'm sure there will be a discussion. Other folks have comments or questions? I know this format is not for everyone, so I do appreciate everyone who's attended tonight, and not everyone feels comfortable talking in this format or wants to bring something forward. So if you'd like to email me, my email again is ashley@louisvilleco.gov, which is ASHLEYS@louisvilleco.gov, or you can email the entire council a question or comment, or you're welcome to call me. My phone number is in the community newsletter. David.
I hate to dominate the discussion here, but since so few people are speaking up, I thought you reminded me of something else. I just wanted to comment on the sleeping policemen on Lincoln. I think those are the biggest sleeping policemen I've ever seen in my entire life. And there's so many of them, it's quite astonishing. But it should have the effect of keeping people out of Louisville's largest school zone. I'm certainly looking for other ways to get from point A to point B, so I think it's working. But gosh, they are big.
Thank you for the feedback. We've been getting mixed feedback. I think you're talking about the speed bumps or speed cushions. Is that right?
Yes, they're called sleeping policemen.
I hadn't heard that before, but I thank you for that. Yeah, we've gotten some very positive feedback, some very negative feedback, and some in the middle. So we're just taking feedback on that. And we really don't have any other speed cushions anywhere in town. That is one area where we have a tremendous issue with speeding and have had concerns around that school zone, like you pointed out. So we'll just continue to take feedback and monitor that situation. But thank you for letting me know that you at least have noticed that it's impacted your behavior.
Impact is the exactly correct word.
Any other comments or questions? All right, well, thank you all very much for joining tonight. And like I say, you're welcome to contact me after, and I have some follow-up to-dos here based on the comments that came forward tonight. So I will get back in touch with folks who brought things forward for me to follow up on. And thank you. I hope everybody has a great night.